Today, Precarious plays Transistor.
Yikes.
Ooh,
They got more friends.
I think we missed this last time.
Run.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I went, like, if you look at it really, whoa.
Oh, what happened? Ooh.
Bad eggs.
Yeah, clearly.
Woohoo!
Bad eggs with egg legs.
But I went right back into that
Made it.
access point.
Yeah.
That was 50 of them back there. Maybe more.
I went right back into that access point, so we missed the little transition over there, and the entire field just lit up with red targeting circles.
Yeah, yikes.
Red. Have a look out there. Toward high rise. Traverson Hall. The annex building. They're not there anymore. Half the skyline's disappeared. Whatever's after us, it's spreading. The Camerata. They'd rip this whole town apart. To get us. Or to get away.
Oh, so there's a mechanic
It's that sandbox.
that I'm not quite sure what it does exactly. As soon as I have my functions, I'll try to show it to you.
More of those doors opened up. How about we shut them? We're not alone. Hey, she's friendly, I think. Hi, Luna. Can I call you Luna? Good girl.
You have to play fetch
Fetch.
with the Luna.
Hmm?
Come on, Luna.
We have to... Okay. There we go. That's a good girl. It's really funny, like, hey Luna. I can call you Luna, right?
Door
You can now.
number 2.
There's a feature to this game that maybe I am not 100% familiar with it because I mostly used turn before.
Mm-hmm.
No, these functions don't have it. For some of the functions, specifically the two you start out with, you can hold the button and then if you release it with proper timing, there's a flash and presumably there's some sort of enhanced effect. Maybe like a reduction to cooldown or probably just a damage bonus. But I think at one point you asked me in this timeline or some other, you asked me if there was anything that you could do in real time that you couldn't do in turn.
Yeah.
And I don't think that there's any way to recreate that little timing-based element.
Oh gosh. Sorry, that big jerk was coming after you. It was startling.
Hey, I didn't know you could do that.
Sweet.
So that must be the purpose of that technique. I think I've only ever used it in this environment. You can use it to pull cells towards you. Neat.
Like
I mean, it's no
last
friend.
time, only better.
Well, no, it's not. But Luna.
There's more. Yep, more sand.
These tests are not my favorite.
Try your
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that might be because I'm
Just gotta hold them off.
sort of comparing them instinctively to Bastion. And in Bastion, there were a lot more
Give us a hand.
there were a lot more little upgrades to get. It feels like in this game, everything is a bit more significant,
Yeah.
you know? But in Bastion, you had these more modest weapon upgrades, I think, that you could have, and there were like tonics that you could equip that were sort of like the passives in this game.
Mm-hmm.
But here, because everything is so multifaceted, anytime they give you a new function, that's like at least three new things to try, you know?
Yeah.
But basically, I feel like this game has a bit of a short-term reward problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know how, actually, I think I've developed some hurt feelings about the series, but I think that one of the better examples of a compelling reward structure is still Borderlands series.
Yeah.
Especially like the first one, because you have like, in the short term, you're always getting new loot,
Yeah.
and then in the midterm, you're getting weapon proficiency.
If this is gonna give us an edge, then we might as well.
And then in the long term, you're getting levels and new skill points.
Yeah. I really had a good time with Borderlands' original recipe.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the reward structure. We don't need to talk about Borderlands.
Okay.
Please don't talk about Borderlands, because then I'm just gonna start talking about a series that ultimately kind of disappointed me.
So, I have a question about this game. Do you feel like right now you're being driven forward by curiosity more? Or is it more about mechanic? Like, are you continuing to figure out what you can do next, or to get more of the story? Are you curious about the world?
Right now, I am being driven forward by a burning desire
You got it.
to engage with a product that I exchanged dollars for.
Okay.
No, that's
All cozy here.
me trying to crack wise.
The process. I thought it only wanted you. It wants the whole town.
Let me think about that.
I just kind of begin to wonder what's more important. Like, are the mechanic elements just sort of there?
I think that there's a problem where I feel like because the narrative and the mechanics are very well integrated and they're presented at the same rate,
Mm-hmm.
there isn't really a weak point for comparison.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I would say both. I would just say both in equal measure. Which might seem like sort of a milquetoast response.
Well,
Because if you say both, that's also just a sort of a kind of, it's another way of saying neither,
yeah.
you know? Or at least that's what it can feel like. But it's just, you know, like on a 3-point scale, we can just say it's like a 2 in both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, just I want new powers, and I know that new powers are going to unlock new stories eventually.
Well, that's pretty telling about this game.
Dug in their heels this time. Cheerleader psyching them up.
I find that usually most games I play fall into a one or the other sort of category. And the ones that have to do with story, I'm much more likely to continue to engage with.
Well, yeah, but that's because you're a villain.
I am not always a villain. Although I have to say, I think Legend of Zelda might be the exception to that rule for me. Yeah. Because I'm always like out there pushing blocks looking for trinkets, you know?
Back to business.
I don't know if I will keep playing this game once we're done with the story.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of our town.
I think that might be an important missing point just to make.
Okay.
You know?
So that tells me that it's more like a 2 in mechanics and a 3 in storytelling.
I don't know.
Curiosity.
I don't know if that's. I don't know if I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I feel like once one of them runs out, I do think that they're both just equally important.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because maybe the big secret, maybe the reason why I stopped playing this before was that I ran out of new mechanical stuff to try. Before I ran out of story.
Interesting. We'll have to see if you get to that point again and you're like, ugh, okay. We're just gonna keep going to see all the story bits on the show. But this is where I would have stopped.
I wish I could remember. I wish I could remember where I stopped exactly. How much time do we have?
Couple minutes.
Okay, let's go ahead and I'm gonna read these stories now. So put on your best speaking voice and read this, and then I'll read the one about Transistor. Gross.
I'm warming up a little. Ranked in the top percentile of Cloudbank's contemporary performing artists for 5 years, Red demonstrated early interest in music despite studying at Traverson Hall. Traverson groomed many of the city's most ambitious civic planners, though Red spent the majority of her time developing the Academy's nascent arts program and was the first on record to select 2 non-traditional disciplines.
You can see on the left side of the screen here, under selections, it's music and linguistics.
Records indicate she was reluctant to explain, citing personal reasons. She remained reticent even after gaining the spotlight, and when asked about her past and influences, would often say her work spoke for itself. She did admit, however, that she never wrote her music with intent to stir controversy. To appreciate the impact of Red's music, consider first the current state of Cloudbank's social climate and how it evolved over the past 2 decades. When an altercation finally erupted in the crowd during one of her performances, it was the first such incident in 4 years. It escalated to the point where administrators were summoned to the scene. As one of the suspects was banned from the premises, he accused Red of being an instigator and provocateur. Red later stated it was in this moment that she fully understood the potent effect her music had on people. She decided to take certain precautions from that point, receding from the spotlight to compose new material in relative privacy. Rumors swirled. Then, once she finally reemerged, trouble followed. The Camerata found her one night, once the crowds dispersed after one of her performances. They had reason to believe that she would be alone, rehearsing said new material. But she was not alone, and the presence of another individual disrupted aspects of the Camerata's plan for the night. Red survived the incident, becoming separated from the Camerata, due to these unforeseen events on their part. Although her trace data remains intact, partial transfer did occur, including transfer of ownership status of something the Camerata believed theirs.
So interesting, right?
Yeah, what did they take?
Her voice.
Oh, why is it theirs?
It's
Liars.
They're not the same thing.
Mm.
They tried to kill her, but all they managed to, they tried to computer kill her.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I think they tried to put her in a zip folder, a zip file.
Yeah.
But they only stole her voice instead. What they thought was theirs, I'm confident it was the transistor.
Mm.
And haha, this one's much shorter.
Yeah, I feel like you did this on purpose.
No, well, not the first time. This time I did, yes. But I'll handle the next one as well. Sorry, what did you say before? Num 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 num. Num 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 num. Error. Subject background data corrupted during integration. Reason unknown. Recovered data indicates subject had no selections on record. There is a remote possibility, less than 5%, that this information is inaccurate due to data corruption. In the more likely event that the information is valid, subject by definition cannot be matched with census data, as 0% of CloudBank willingly chose non-selection.
Mm-hmm.
Timestamp on subject's integration coincides with timestamp of previous authenticated user relinquishing access and control. Although subject's trace data was corrupted during integration, nonetheless such data has its uses, and consequently, derived a suitable function. Subject's trace data remains disjointed and cannot be recovered.
Whole lot of nothing.
Reason cited. Still figuring things out. Gosh. They're all just little stories.
I know.
Just waiting to be figured out.